Hey there, Christina Rizakos here, founder of ProfitableDaycare.com. I am a daycare business mentor and strategist, super busy mom of 4, early childhood educator by trade with over 21 years experience in the field, and I also own my own daycare center. And today we are talking about something really interesting. And this is really interesting in particular if you are someone that is right now working in a daycare center. So whether that's a home daycare, a preschool, after school program, or a childcare center, and you are working as an educator and you despise the educational program that you have to respect because you are a hired employee and you need to respect what the center is all about. This is going to be a really fun training for you today because I was there. I was working in a daycare that I hated their educational program. Like, I hated everything about it. And I remember feeling as though very stressed out. I was very overwhelmed. It was just out of college and this was one of my first jobs. And I thought that every single center was probably like this. I didn't know any better. And I remember waking up in the morning and feeling very depressed about going to work. And that was my red light to get out of there, to really find another job, because I went into early childhood education because I wanted to work with kids. I loved working with kids. I loved the whole daycare setting. And I struggled a lot, at the beginning to find what my purpose was. But as soon as I came into ECE, I knew I had found it. So I was feeling very depressed about going to work. I was, I didn't want to go in the morning. And that was a really big red light for me to say, hey, okay, time to move on. You'll find a center that best fits you and your values, Christina, and just go. And that's what I did. And if you are stuck somewhere right now that you might have issues with the program or the intervention techniques, or maybe the people that you work with, or even your boss. I've been there, and I think most of us working in daycares have been there. So I just want you to know that you are not alone and that there is light at the end of the tunnel, especially if you are someone that wants to open their own center one day. So this training is all about how to make sure your childcare center's educational program is high quality. Oh, I love it. So one of the best ways to make sure that your educational program is high quality is crafting an educational program booklet that aligns with your values and your beliefs as the daycare center's owner. That's the number one thing that you need to keep in your mind, that anything that you expect your employees to do and anything that you want the kids, that you're serving to get out of your program needs to align with you and who you are as a human being and your values and your beliefs. It's not something that you could fake. It's not something that you can copy. It's not something that you can, just hear something about it, in a Facebook group and just think, yeah, I'll implement it too in my center. I think that crafting your educational program is really exciting. It should take you some time to do because there's a lot of thought that you have to put into all the moving pieces that you have to put in this booklet, and it should feel good to you. It should feel exciting, but it should feel real and authentic, and you should be able to say, yes, I back this up 100%. So let's get to it. So as a childcare business owner, you have to create an educational program that feels good to you, right? It's one of the first things you need to do before you open your center. There's a few documents you need to have in place before you open your center. I actually have another training on this. I'll put the link in the bottom. But one of those documents is your educational program, right? You need to know what you believe in, what your vision is. You need to know what your values are, your beliefs are. You need to know what kind of guidance systems and techniques you're going to be using in your center. And you need to get clear on this. So before you start writing anything down, you need to do a really big gut check, and you need to sit down with yourself and just think, what do I believe in? What do I value? What do I want the kids that are going to be coming in my center, what do I want them to get out of my program? How do I want my staff to show up every single day in their classrooms? What about intervention techniques? What kind of techniques do you believe in? Why? Why not? So there's so many things that are going to be influenced by your educational program. Hiring, your budget, what you buy for your center, how you show up as a business owner every single day. And it's really important that you understand that this is something that you need to create before you start hiring or you start opening your center for business. So you need to take the time to create a quality educational program. Now, before you write your educational booklet, here's a few steps that you need to take before you sit down and you start writing, right? So number one, you have to understand that you cannot compare yourself to someone else's philosophy, mission statement. You cannot compare your center or what it looks like to the center across the street or across town. As I mentioned before, everyone is unique, everyone's business is unique. So the faster you understand that, the better it's going to be for you. So no comparison game at all. Second thing is, you don't want to be copying other people's work. You don't want to be copying someone else's educational program, educational statement, what kind of activities they do. You don't want to be like that because that's not really aligning your center with your beliefs and values, right? So stay away from copying other people's work or buying programs from wherever, right? So just stay away from that. Number three, take the time to do the mind check. So now this is when you take the time to do a mind check. As a business owner, what are your beliefs? What is your vision for your business? What kind of people do you want to be working for you? What kind of program, what kind of activities do you want to offer to the kids in your care? What do you want people to say when they enter your business and when they leave it? And how do you want people to see you as? What kind of things do you want people to say about your center? These are all things that you have to write down on a piece of paper, take some time and really just do a real gut check and really be honest with yourself. Because if you don't have this in place, you won't be able to do anything else after. You won't be able to create any other policy. And lastly, research philosophies, books and from thought leaders, people that you respect in the field. And what that is if you've done your ECE courses, then chances are that you studied or you were taught a certain way, and it's your job as a business owner to say, okay, this is the philosophy that I was taught in school. Do I agree with it or not? And then tweak it and make it your own. If you've never been in college for ECE and this is all brand new to you, research on the internet. Google has so many resources out there. There's YouTube and Google. Do a search on education and ECE and professionals out there. Read up on things, read up on theories, on timeout, on positive guidance techniques. Just do your homework, take the time, it does matter. So now that you've done all of that and you've done the research, you've done the gut check, and you are mindful of not comparing your center and your beliefs to other people in your area, in your community, then you're ready to start writing things down. And I want you to be able to simplify your booklet for your customers and your staff, because parents are busy, employees are busy, everyone has a life, and no one is going to sit and read a novel when you give it to them, right? So you need to make sure that you're mindful of that and that you create a program that is appealing to the eyes and that is easy to look through. So what I teach on my online academy is a simple 3-section way of separating booklets. So whether that's for your staff booklets, your educational program, or your policies and procedures for your center, I teach this specific way. It has helped me out and it is helping my students out as well. So, but you decide for yourself and your business, how do I want to separate my booklet? What do I want it to look like? How long do I want it to be? And I don't want you to think of focusing only on activities and arts and crafts, because educational programming is so much more than that, right? So when you're crafting this foundational piece of work, it's so much more than that. So you need to be clear on that. And first thing you're going to do is give an overview of who you are, what your center stands for, what your center's vision is, what your beliefs are, what your values are. And one of the first things that you need to have clear in your educational program is your educational mission statement. And what that is, if you've never seen a mission statement, it's a statement that is brief, to the point, and it states clearly what your vision is for your center. So it should stop someone in their tracks when they hear it. It should get across really strongly, and it should be clear. So that's the first thing you need to have in place in your educational program. Then you need to have a section for interventions and guidance techniques and methods and techniques that you use in your center, whatever that looks like for you. And then after that, there are so many topics that you can add after that in your educational program. As I mentioned before, it's not just activities and arts and crafts and yoga every Tuesday morning. There's so much more than that. There's communication between the parents and your staff. There's communication between you and your staff. There's how do you expect your staff to align their roles and responsibilities to align with your educational program. There's the way you are going to be observing children and doing checklists. What does that look like to you? And among other things, health and nutrition policies, all of that plays a big role, and it should all align with your educational program and your values and your beliefs. You should have clear policies and procedures in every single section of your educational program. And again, make sure that a copy is given to all your staff as well as your customers. Really important. Now, if you don't want to print this out, because sometimes they tend to be pretty long, you can also upload it on your website, right? Easy to find. Someone could just go online and just download it on their iPhone and look it over. Now, you might be asking yourself now, okay, well, this training was supposed to be, a training on how my program can increase the quality of my service. And that's what I'm getting at right now, because after you've done all the work and you've crafted something that you are so proud of, that you want to go scream it from the rooftop, then it's easy to make sure that every decision that you're making aligns with your educational program. So how your educational program can increase the quality in your center, there's a few ways. Number one, you're hiring staff that fits your team culture. And that should be easy to do right now because you know exactly what kind of person you want in your center, you know what kind of philosophy and what you stand for. So when you are interviewing staff, it's easy to pinpoint who might be a good fit versus someone that does not get it and doesn't really fit well with your team culture. So that's the first thing that will increase your the quality of your center, is hiring people that understand your philosophy and that back it up 100%. Next, budgeting. Once you know what you value, what you believe in, what you want to focus your attention on, then everything else is going to flow that way. It's only normal. So if you're a center that values movement and gross motor and really just going out every day and just enjoying nature, then chances are your budgeting will look different from a center that doesn't really value that but values electronics more, right? So another way it's going to affect the quality of your center is the kids are going to feel it, and in turn the parents are going to feel it too, right? So imagine walking in a center knowing that you've made the best decision possible for your family, that your child is stimulated every day and they're coming home with all these things that they've done throughout the day and they're happy and they're excited to go to the daycare. Parents are going to be happy, and what happens when you have happy parents? You get referrals, word of mouth, and they are your number one advertisement, which is amazing. So when you increase quality of your educational program and your staff, the kids feel it, the parents feel it, and in turn you feel it as well as a business owner. And lastly, marketing. Now, once you're clear on your vision and you know exactly where you're headed, it's so much easier to market your center to your ideal customers. So you know that when you've crafted your educational program, you know exactly what you believe in, what you don't believe in, so that when you have to start marketing your center, maybe you're expanding, maybe you have registrations, maybe you are in the process of registering new kids for your fall time, you know exactly where to find your people because you know exactly what you stand for and what your mission is and what your beliefs are. So it's so much easier to find customers in that respect. Whereas you have no clue where you're going and you're just accepting everyone under the sun just because you want to fill up your space. It's so much different. You will feel empowered, you will feel inspired, and people will understand that your center means business, your center stands out from the crowd, and it all starts with a great educational program. Now, if you've enjoyed this video, share it with a friend or comment below, let me know what you thought. I invite you to hop on over to my website, www.profitabledaycare.com, to sign up for my newsletter, and of course, subscribe to the YouTube channel. I will see you guys next week.